The parking lot was never meant to be a battleground. But that night, under the trembling yellow lights, it became the stage for something far darker, a collision of betrayal, fear, and secrets powerful enough to destroy everything. One man stood frozen, the other with a gun raised, their shadows stretching like monsters across the wet concrete. No words. No witnesses. Only the unbearable tension between survival and annihilation. What Randy carried wasn't just a secret, it was a loaded weapon, and Tomas was ready to pull the trigger before the truth could ever see the light. The dim yellow lights scattered across the empty parking lot, reflecting off the puddles like distorted ghosts trapped in a world without escape. Randy stepped backward, his heart pounding in his chest, each beat echoing like a war drum, reminding him that any mistake could be the end. The wind whistled through the gaps in the roof, carrying the scent of oil, dampness, and a creeping sense of death that filled the air. Randy felt every drop of cold sweat rolling down his neck, every muscle tense as if strung tight like a violin string. A few meters away, Tomas stood motionless, gun raised, eyes sharp and icy. No words were needed, his presence alone was enough to press Randy's senses to the breaking point. Randy knew that Tomas had planned every move long before this moment. He wasn't just there to intimidate, he wanted to control the situation entirely, leaving Randy with no margin for survival. Tomas's gaze swept over every detail, the puddles, overturned trash bins, old cars, as if everything were part of his strategy to dominate Randy. The secret Randy held wasn't just ordinary information. It was live evidence of a massive betrayal, showing Tomas orchestrating deadly schemes, manipulating others to serve his lust for power. If this secret were revealed, Tomas wouldn't just lose authority, his reputation and the networks he controlled would collapse entirely. Randy had once thought he could use this secret as a shield, but now, facing the gun, he realized that a single misstep could end everything. An old, creaking car rolled by, metal clanging across the lot, a stark reminder that nothing was certain. Every sound, however small, made Randy flinch, his heartbeat racing, signaling that every element around him could turn into a threat. In this moment, the parking lot wasn't just a place, it was a battlefield of the mind, where every movement, every glance, every heartbeat could determine life or death. Randy felt his body freeze, but not from fear alone. Anger surged within him, mingling with feelings of betrayal and manipulation he had endured in recent days. He hated Tomas, but he also hated himself, for his indecision, for trusting the wrong people, for letting this massive scheme approach without preparation. Every memory, every past failure, sharpened the pressure of the present. Tomas was not entirely emotionless either. His cold eyes reflected a relentless determination, a desire to control Randy and seize the secret at any cost. He faced his own conflict, shoot immediately to end it, or continue to pressure Randy to extract more. Each choice carried risks. Shooting now might miss the chance to exploit the secret, pressing too long could provoke a violent retaliation or allow Randy to escape. The flickering light, the interplay of shadows and brightness, reflected the distorted images of the two men cornered with nowhere to go. Randy wondered, did Tomas know all the secrets he held? Were any of Tomas's allies lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment? And most importantly, would this secret save him or doom him instantly? Randy's anger rose like a stormy sea. It was not just personal rage, it was hatred toward schemes, betrayal, and the limits others imposed on him. He knew that every decision now could affect not just his life but also destroy or protect others, and potentially unravel hidden plots yet to surface. Randy realized that in this moment, all his senses had to operate at maximum. Every whistle of wind, every raindrop, every creak of metal became a warning signal. Any wrong step could reveal the secret or end his life. He felt every heartbeat of Tomas, every subtle movement, every prelude to action. And the more he felt it, the more his anger mixed with fear, tension rising like a wildfire in his chest. In the dim darkness, Randy saw images of Tomas's victims, manipulated, betrayed, and eliminated ruthlessly. Each image intensified the pressure, making every choice heavier. He knew that keeping the secret would drive Tomas even crazier to seize it, but revealing it carried unpredictable consequences. His internal conflict peaked: to protect the secret and risk death, or reveal it to survive temporarily but lose the advantage. Meanwhile, the parking lot seemed alive. Every trash bin, puddle, old car became part of a deadly chessboard. One slip could topple an object, giving Tomas an opportunity, or a quick reflex could turn it into a shield. There was no room for mistakes, no escape. Tomas stepped closer, his gaze sweeping over Randy with a challenge, both a threat and a test. Randy felt the pressure crushing down like a boulder, yet inside, his rage pushed him to prepare for decisive reactions. No choice remained but to engage in a battle of wits and strength, second by second, breath by breath. At the climax of tension, Randy scanned the lot, wondering, who else was watching from the shadows? Did anyone else know this secret besides Tomas and himself? Was a larger scheme waiting to overturn the situation? These unanswered questions only amplified the mental pressure, forcing him to fight with himself, his anger, and the fear surging within. The parking lot had become a battlefield of the mind. Flickering lights, enveloping shadows, and escalating tension threatened to explode at any moment. Randy knew that his next decision would determine life, honor, and the entire web of schemes both had woven. He sensed every movement, every heartbeat, every signal of impending action. This was the decisive moment, where all limits were tested, where betrayal and conspiracy were exposed, and where life hung by a fragile thread. Any misstep could turn the secret into a dagger against him, or make Randy the sole master of control if he acted with enough cunning and decisiveness. Every sound, every image, every breath merged into a symphony of tension, pushing both men to the edge. No dialogue, no allies, only a confrontation to the extreme, where Randy had to battle fear and rage. Tomas tested every limit, and the secret would decide everything. The tense moment seemed to last forever. Randy stood still, his heart still beating like a drum, each beat echoing in the empty space of the parking lot. The flickering yellow lights reflected the distorted silhouettes of him and Tomas, people who were being pushed into a corner by the very conspiracy they had participated in or witnessed. The secret Randy held, once a potential weapon, now became a deadly burden. It not only determined his life but also reflected the choices, the mistakes, the betrayals that had created this moment. Tomas stood there, cold but not emotionless. His eyes never left Randy. Every muscle, every movement had a purpose, as if he were reading his mind, anticipating every decision. He knew Randy was weighing, struggling between fear and anger. Every step Randy took back was a test, every heartbeat a knife to the spirit. Tomas wanted more than just the secret, he wanted to force Randy to admit his limitations, his failures, and his past wrong choices. Randy felt the pressure, but at the same time, his anger rose stronger than ever. It sobered him, made him realize that he had no choice but to confront it. Every second was a life-or-death decision: keep the secret and risk death, or reveal it and survive temporarily but lose all advantages. The conflict in his heart became extreme: fear and hatred, resentment and desire to survive, all merged into a never-ending spiral. The sound of wind whistling through the cracks, carrying the smell of oil and mold, swirling with his rapid breathing, creating a tense, wordless music. Randy looked at Tomas, at the gun, at his own shadow in the puddles. He knew that this moment would determine not only their lives, but every plot, every betrayal, every choice they had ever made. Outside in the parking lot, the darkness seemed to contain invisible eyes, hidden dangers, other plots waiting to explode. Who else was watching? Would this secret be enough to turn everything upside down? Randy realized that, even if they survived, nothing would remain the same. Death might not come immediately, but the battle of the mind, the battle of wits, and the consequences of the secret would continue to pursue them, silently and relentlessly. In the quiet before the storm, Randy took a deep breath, feeling every heartbeat, every breath, every thought rushing toward a final decision. Tomas didn't move either, but Randy knew that one wrong step could end everything. The lights flicker, the wind still howls, the metal still rings, and the secret is still in Randy's hands, heavy, dangerous, and powerful. And then, as everything seems frozen, the question still hangs: who will win? Who will be destroyed? And what is the real plot behind this night, when the darkness still harbors secrets no one knows? No answers. Only tension, anger, and a fateful moment when any choice can change forever.